There are certain people that you'll meet for the first time and you'll think, I like her. You're not exactly sure why, but there was something they did in that conversation that just stuck with you. Now, most people miss out on this opportunity to attract the right people in their lives, whether that's a life partner, a potential friend, or a business relationship, specifically because they're not doing the subtle things that Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco do right here.
You married?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
I'm looking to get about, hey, I'm about to be 55, I'm about to be double nickel.
Double nickel, yeah?
Double nickel. So.
What you think about it though?
I want to get
wait. Let's pretend these cameras ain't here.
Yeah.
It's me and you, barbershop. I've been talking like they ain't here anyway. What your views on marriage? What do you think?
There are several things that Chad does brilliantly to get Shannon to open up. The first is that he says, let's just ignore the cameras. It's just you and me, barbershop talk. Obviously, not all of your conversations are going to be recorded. In fact, probably most of them won't be. But when you set the scene and say, listen, it's just you and me, let's just chop it up, that will make your partner feel much more secure. It's just you two. There's not anyone that's going to be infiltrating your conversation, and they're going to be willing to open up more. Another thing that Chad does is that he uses his body language to mirror Shannon's. If you look carefully, he actually slightly adjusts himself so that he's facing Shannon that much more. When you are mirroring your partner's body language, that implicitly shows that you're right there with them, and they will feel that instant connection with you. And the third thing that he does is that he asks an open-ended question. What do you think about marriage? When you ask an open-ended question instead of one that just elicits a yes or no answer, you're giving your conversation partner that opportunity to expand on what they're feeling and actually open up even more.
I would have loved to have gotten married earlier in my career, but my career was the most important thing. So I was no good. I was a terrible father. I probably was a terrible brother, a terrible son. I definitely was a terrible boyfriend because football was the most important thing.
Right.
I was consumed with that. And I was consumed with that because I wanted to get my grandmother and my family out of the conditions that I grew up in. And I said, if I had kids, I didn't want them to spend 1 hour, let alone a year like I spent. So I focused on that. That was the only thing that mattered.
Right.
And I had a lot of women say they could be okay with being with number 2 to football. But when it came right down to it and they see how devout I was in it, they couldn't be.
Right.
And I said, okay. But now I started to realize as I've gotten older in my life, everything that I've accumulated doesn't mean anything if I don't have anybody to share it with. And it took me spending time alone to realize that, yes, Shannon, you're great at what you do. You're in the Hall of Fame. You accomplished a lot. But at the end of the day, who do you share it with?
To let people in your life and have real connection, you have to be willing to let your guard down. Sharing things that maybe you weren't once proud of, like Shannon sharing how he wasn't a great father, he wasn't a great boyfriend, but at the end of the day, he tells Chad why he was that way, and that's the key. Be willing to share the moments in your life where maybe it's not the most flattering, but you give people an insight into who you really are as a person. That's something that the right people in your life will really appreciate and try to understand better. The wrong people will ultimately try to judge you, and that's a great filter. Remove those people from your life.
I want someone to bring something to the picnic besides your appetite. I don't care if it's fork, I don't care if it's napkins, I don't care if it's the mashed potatoes with raisins on top. But bring something to the picnic.
Right.
And so we can work from that.
Right.
I don't care if you have kids. I will graciously accept the kids.
Right.
Your family becomes my family.
Yeah. I like that. So we have the same mindset. Once that union, everything is united, it's one umbrella.
It's us.
All problems.
It's us.
Okay, I like that.
But
I like the part where you said, at least bring something to the table, because I think that's an argument, something that we all have issues with as men. And I think some men that have money, men of wealth, really don't care about times when women have anything to offer, because it allows them so much more control when they don't have anything, because they have to rely on them.
There are two things that Chad does here. The first is he finds commonality with what Shannon is saying by using the word we. We're just like each other. We're the same. You're making your conversation partner feel like you're on the same side, and that's a wonderful feeling. The second thing that he does is he compliments what Shannon has to say. I really like what you said right there. Complimenting someone on a specific thing they said shows that, one, you were listening and you're making them feel heard, which is awesome, and two, allows that person to expand even more on that particular point.
No, I want you to have your own independence. I don't ever want you to become dependent on me.
Right.
something I just want you to know that if something were to happen to me, you're more than taken care of.
Right, you good.
Family is taken care of.
Right.
And so that's the thing, Chad, over the last couple of years, I've sat down and realized I need to find someone to love me like I love football. I need to find someone that loves me like I love Undisputed. Love me like I love doing what I'm doing here on Club Station.
I like that.
So,
ladies, your number still the same? Listen, ladies, call Shannon, 323-509-5423.
I got, hey.
When it's appropriate, it's wonderful to lighten the mood, give brevity to the conversation, because that will allow that person to just laugh, relax, have fun. Of course you want to be serious. Of course you want to show that you deeply care about what they're saying. But when you can contrast the conversation, it does make that person feel even more comfortable around you.
Look, but somebody's gonna have to accept me because I'm not an outdoor. I'm a very, very private person. When I say I'm private, I'm ultra private.
Right.
I'm not a red carpet guy. I'm not a post on social media. This is what I've learned. People can't F up what they don't know about. The moment somebody knows about something, they'll try to mess it up. I don't care how. I'm doing my own thing. I don't bother nobody. Nobody can ever tell you Shannon Sharp bothered them or Shannon Sharp said anything bad about them. But the moment they know something about you, they'll F it up. So for me, I just stay to myself.
But not really, but if I'm not private. I'm very outgoing, especially with the kids, the missus. But if you're not doing nothing wrong, there's really nothing for anybody to F up.
No, but see, here's the thing. What's wrong is that people lie.
During any honest and open conversation, don't be afraid to state your opinion that might differ from your conversation partner's. It's totally okay as long as you seek to understand their point of view. And that's exactly what Chad does here. He's not afraid to say that, listen, he's more extroverted and open than Shannon is, who says he's quite private. But at the end of the day, he just wants to better understand why Shannon is private. And once he understands it, they're still good. They can still respect each other. That's a sign of a great conversation partner, of someone that is meant to be in your life, because whenever there's conflict or disagreement, it's okay. As long as you're seeking to understand one another, you can come away with an even more heightened, elevated perspective.
People lie. And sometimes just the mention of impropriety is enough to sway people's opinion of you.
Right.
I don't need to have done anything, but somebody said I did something. And even when it comes out, well, that didn't happen. Well, it could have happened. He probably paid that person off. And then what?
Right.
Because they're never going to print the retraction like they ran with the original story. It's never as loud.
I like that. That's a good one.
I just stay to myself. I'll find somebody. God, look.
Right.
When I get up, when I fall on my knees every night, Ocho, I ain't gonna lie. I pray. I ask the God to give me strength, guidance, and clarity. I thank Him every morning for allowing me to wake up in my right mind, blood running through my veins, and use of my limbs. But I ask for clarity, and He showed me a lot. And Tyler Perry had something. He says, sometimes people come in your life for a season. Everybody's not meant to be in your life for longevity.
Right.
The key here is to tell a story and bring your conversation partner into a specific detailed moment, telling that visceral, vivid story of Shannon, in this case, praying every single day for God to give him strength. That's the type of stuff that, frankly, people don't do enough of. But when you do, the right people in your life will feel much closer to you and will thank you for giving you that level of detail that, frankly, you just don't give to everybody.
He says sometimes people are like rockets. The boosters on the spaceship. They take you up and then they fall off because that's as far as they need to take you.
Yeah.
I listen to that quote every single day for like the last 6 months. And I realize that now. There are people that have been in my life that were only there for a short period of time, and that was all God meant them to be. I also realized that people pushed me to a height, and that was as far as they could push me. And now it's up to me to take it to go the rest of the way.
I like that.
2 things I want you to take away from this are, 1, don't be afraid to be your honest and open self, because that will filter out the wrong people in your life who will seek to judge you and will bring in the right people in your life who will seek to understand you. And remember, it's not about getting everybody to like you. That language is dangerous because it's impossible to get everybody to like you. And the second is, when you're in that conversation, seek to understand. Don't try to judge. Chad does a great job here, and that's what allows Shannon to open up. And there are even more ways that you can show your authentic self. Just watch this video here on how Satya Nadella does that when he opens up and answers questions like a pro.